Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you folks are, and welcome
evening,
once
good
again.
morning, good afternoon,
And
good
I'm
whatever it is,
hearing
wherever
myself.
you
Hold
folks
on
are,
just a
and welcome
second.
evening,
Let's
good
bring that volume down. Darn you, Twitch. It's always the Twitch. Let's make absolutely sure that it's not everything else as well. Yeah, okay, everybody else is the volume's down. Okay, good, good. So, Nerd Week Live. That's what we are. We are the folks at Nerd Caliber who are bringing you Nerd Week Live. I'm Rodney Brown. I'm the editor-in-chief of Nerd Caliber, first-person shooter on the Facebooks, Burley_adopter on Twitter, a couple other places. Joining me tonight is the Pirate King himself. Introduce yourself, if you would, sir.
Loki, it is Byron McNeil here, back after a couple weeks away. Byron D0 on various facets of the internet. Got a couple different projects going on, but I'm promoting my webcomic again, codename Blackbird, which is on codename.blackbird.com. No, codename blackbird.thecomicseries.com.
Codename Blackbird. Dot the comic
The com-
series.
yes,
Dot com.
.com. Yes.
Got it. All right,
Just posted
excellent.
a new chapter this week. So
Oh, cool, cool. Check it out, folks. Check it out. And let's see, some people jumping in here already. Freddie Plays, welcome to the show. Rob Warrior, welcome to the show. Oh, I'm sorry. Insane Gamer, welcome to the show. You were first, like 15 minutes ago. Margarita Alvarado Leon, welcome to the show. Luminous, welcome to the show. Dexter, the Nostalgia Toonster, welcome to the show. And Hamburger Country. Hamburger Country, I like it.
yes.
Welcome to the show. Let's see. Do we have anybody yet on the Facebooks? Nope. No chatters on the Twitch yet either. All right, cool. But we are live on Facebook Live. We are live on Twitch. So if you can't see the YouTube stuff, join us over there. But we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. In case you guys weren't paying attention, there was a fair amount of news last week. We're going to jump right into our very first piece of news, and this is actually kind of just catching up and confirming something that we talked about as a possibility last week. So what appeared on your screen right there is, of course, a screen shot from the currently playing. How would you describe the way it's being distributed now? Somebody must have come up with a term for that.
Streaming.
Streaming. Currently streaming. Well, you have to pay for it. Currently, premium streaming. God, I hate this.
Yeah.
Mulan. We reported last week that it looked like Disney had screwed up and actually let people know that December 4th, if you're a Disney Plus subscriber, you won't have to pay the $30 premium access to watch Mulan. It will be just part of your subscription. And Disney had apparently put that up on a pricing scheme and then pulled it down immediately as soon as somebody saw it. Well, now they're confirming, yep, that's the case. So if you don't want to pay that $29.99 to own a digital copy of Mulan, you wait till December 4th. There you go.
Yeah. And as someone who's watched it, you trust me, you do not want to pay that. It's not worth $30.
Now, we're going to make sure that Byron doesn't give away his entire review. But, word to the wise, the man has watched it. The one thing that is a little bit of news in here is that apparently it is going away as something you can get by paying $30 for it a month earlier on November 2nd. So if you have not already purchased that digital ownership, between now or September 4th is when it went live, and November 2nd, it's not available to you, or it won't be available to you at all until December 4th, when everybody who has a Disney Plus subscription can get it.
Luminous just brought up something interesting about it. He says I'm hearing political stories involving Mulan. There aren't a lot of political stories about the movie per se, just the lead actress playing her.
Yeah, that I mean, so the fact that Mulan was made into the movie that it is kind of a political story. I mean, it's Disney trying to make something, while in some cases more accurate to the legend, also more appealing to the Chinese audience. And if it's appealing to the Chinese audience, it's appealing to the Chinese government because nothing happens to a Chinese audience that is not approved by the Chinese government. So there is some politics there, but you're right. The big politics is the lead actress's stance on the protests in Hong Kong. Spoiler alert, she's not for them. Spoiler alert, she has a career in Chinese film, so if she said she was for them, she would be no longer working or maybe in prison. So, I like the idea of people standing up for their convictions. I understand if the people that are going to be, contradicting your convictions, already have millions of people in concentration camps. I can see being cautious. Maybe she really believes this. We don't know. Is it a reason to not support the movie?
That's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, Byron did. Thank God, because he's going to give us a review. And I know plenty of people who bought it on September 4th. Boom, right there. So, anyway, if you've got a Disney Plus subscription, just wait until December 4th, assuming you don't want to own this digitally in advance. Another bit of news that dropped about dates and shows and things. That is, of course, everybody's favorite Mandalorian, The Mandalorian. And we found out that the premiere of Season 2 is going to hit October 30th. Wonderful Halloween present for everybody.
Indeed. My favorite holiday.
Here at Nerd Caliber, we love cosplay, which means we love costuming and so on. And Halloween is right up there in the favorite holidays.
Yes.
The article that I read this was comicbook.com, still says that Rosario Dawson is rumored to be playing Asuka Tano. So they haven't confirmed that that's who's playing that character, which is really surprising. Why would you keep that as a sort of big reveal? They didn't do that with almost anything else. I mean, we didn't know who Giancarlo Esposito was going to be playing until he showed up, but still, we knew he was a bad guy. We knew who Gina Carano was playing, and that character was named. Why hide it? I don't know. But yeah, sounds really good.
Indeed.
Pedro Pascal has said that it is a little bit more about the Mandalorian trying to figure out what his relationship with the child is going forward as things get a lot more intense about various factions searching for the child. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much.
Same here.
And now we are jumping way ahead with what's our teaser topic, because frankly there's a lot more timely stuff coming forward, and this is technically a rumor. I use this as a teaser topic because I actually really like the idea if this rumor comes about. That is, of course, Silk on your screen there. If you are a real devoted comic book fan, you know that is from the very first issue of the new Silk series that was supposed to drop on July 1st and didn't because the COVID sucks. But the news is, or the rumor is, shouldn't call this news. The rumor is that I skipped over one. Oh, no, I just have them in the wrong order up here in front of me. Never mind. The rumor is that Amazon is in talks with Sony to take a series or a suite of series from Sony surrounding the Spider-Verse, the first one of which, or the primary one of which, is going to be Silk. And if you don't know who Silk is, look up the character. Is one of the most popular recent introductions in the comic books in the Spider-Verse. Cindy Moon.
Oh yeah, her story's really interesting.
Oh, really, very interesting backstory. Very, very interesting character. Um, as complex a foil for Spidey and Peter Parker as Black Cat is, maybe even more so. Um, it's a very cool character. But
Definitely, yeah, they definitely have a love-hate relationship.
yes, and and the love part
Literally.
is more like lust. And, and it's canon, or it's in story explained, and it kind of makes sense in story. It's pretty cool. But anyway, I don't want to get into all of that because who knows whether or not they'll introduce that stuff if they do make the series. Because who knows whether they're going to get a Spider-Man to show up, in any of these. What is cool is that the term "sweet" means that they're going to be doing something, or they're, according to this rumor, they're going to be doing something very similar to what Marvel did with the Netflix Marvel Heroes shows. So there will all be an interconnected series of shows with characters from one, like, crossing over into the other. And I love that idea. I would love to see that about...
Yeah.
I mean, could this be when they finally drop the Black Cat Silver Sable series as well? Please?
That would be awesome. I would love to see that.
I would too. That would be fantastic. Now, the one thing that really sort of threw me for this is that this reporter who said their inside source is saying that the reason it's still up in the air is that there's an awful lot of negotiations still to go, because Sony is apparently trying to get this to appear on, and I had to look this up, folks, a linear platform first. A linear platform means a network. So, as opposed to a digital streaming platform, which I guess is not linear.
Well, yeah, that would definitely be challenging, mainly because like there are probably only a handful of channels that broadcast cartoons on a regular basis now, and they're all cable.
Yep. So, I'm looking back at here. I'm trying to see whether or not this article doesn't say animated or live. As far as I can tell, anyway. If anybody has heard anything further about this, or if, we talked about the Silk series when it first came up almost 2 years ago, and I can't remember that far back. So it may very well have we may have very well have said that these were planned to be animated series. I don't recall. Somebody remind me of that, or somebody look that up if you could. The problem I see with this is that Amazon does so. It's real easy to see Warner Brothers and CW do that model. So with like Stargirl first appearing on CW when it did, and then going to DC Universe, and now if anything appears on CW, it'll go to HBO Max, because HBO owns all of them. Amazon doesn't own a network, a cable network, or a broadcast network, as far as I know, or doesn't have a
Yet.
Well, yeah, good point. And Sony doesn't. That's why Sony had to put stuff on its PlayStation, whatever they called the PS Live or PlayStation TV, or I can't remember what they called it, where shows went to die because nobody could see them. So they need to work out a deal with somebody like a CBS or an AMC or whatever, a broadcast or a cable network, to get these shows to show there first, and then that network or network needs to be willing to let Amazon have streaming access to it. So it really couldn't be CBS, because CBS already has a digital platform. So why would they make a deal anyway?
Maybe they could put HBO. I don't know.
Well, but yeah, HBO would never, since HBO has HBO Max, it would never let that go to a different digital streaming platform. I mean, if they were making a deal, they would say, yeah, you can put it on HBO, and then it's also going to go on HBO Max, because why would we give away that money? Anyway, I hope it happens. It's not going to happen anytime soon. People involved in it, Lauren Moon, who was a writer on the Netflix series Atypical, which is apparently done by Sony, which I just saw in this thing, wrote the initial TV adaptation. And if you've never seen Atypical, I like that show an awful lot. I know some friends of mine who are neural atypical who find the humor a little bit stretched. But I
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, I thought it was generally sensitive to the subject. That it always allowed you to laugh with the main character, not necessarily at the main character. But then again, I am neurotypical, so I don't really have a voice in that criticism. But that aside, it's a very well done, creative, dramedy, family drama comedy type show. And the writing, aside from possibly how they treat atypical people, is fantastic. So that tells me possible good things about the Silk series, if and when it happens. And that was way more than I was planning on talking about for a very small piece of information. So we're going to move on to our next one. That is, of course, not a picture of somebody in the throes of COVID-19, but it sure looks like it. And in fact, it is of somebody who is in the throes of COVID-19. You've probably heard this. Production of The Batman, starring Robert Patman, right there, was canceled within days of finally getting back to filming because Robert Pattinson contracted COVID-19. Or was exposed, well, has it. Who knows how bad any of his symptoms will be. He is at least quarantined for 14 days. So, poor him.
Yeah. I sincerely hope he gets through this without too much incident.
I hope so too. I mean, it would be. I mean, it's a horrible disease if it hits hard, and we know people who of his age, even though he's fairly young, who have been hit hard by it. You just have to look at any report of somebody in their mid 30s and who got it, and there are plenty of them who died, who never made it. So horrible thing to say. Fingers crossed that he's mostly asymptomatic. Yeah, knock wood. Knock shiny bald wood. But and whether or not it's going to get right back into production once his quarantine is done is entirely dependent upon whether or not he gets ill and whether or not he is considered still able to infect people. So, who knows when the Batman's coming out? I'm just not going to make whatever its projected date is. There's no question about that.
Not at this point. No.
So, let's hope they get this taken care of. Because everything about that first trailer was so awesome.
It definitely was. I was pumped.
Yes, pumped and psyched. All right, moving on to our next topic. This is actually kind of interesting. So, Shenmue is getting an anime series that is going to be done by apparently Crunchyroll, but it's also it says greenlit by Adult Swim. Oh, I see why, because they're both owned by Warner Media.
Oh yeah, that's right.
13 episode original anime series based on the game franchise, and I find that's kind of interesting because this is a screen grab from Shenmue 3, and boy, that game got horrible reviews. After all the hubbub about Kickstarter and everybody just going crazy about, yes, please give us a new one. Finally they did, and there was an awful lot of from what I recall. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
So, Byron, are we interested in this? Do we want to see this?
I'm definitely interested in seeing what becomes of this. My on it, main like I looked at the art style from the promo pictures, and it reeks of that early aughts digital coloring aesthetic. And I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe it's because I'm spoiled from like bitter, bitter designed anime. But I'm I'm hoping it looks better when in motion.
So, and basically, you're talking about a martial arts anime. So, in motion is what's going to sell this. You know,
Absolutely.
if the Sakaga is Sakaga, then yeah, I mean, if they can pull off combat like God of High School is doing, which is just gorgeous. Every fight scene in God of High School is fantastic, and it's mostly fight scenes. Um, then, yeah, this could be something very interesting. I don't know that anybody's going to be particularly interested in the storyline, but then again, who knows what
Mm,
storyline they're going to be crafting, and whether it'll follow any of the game's stories, you know, first, second, or third. So,
that's another uh, concern I have. The like, is this going to be like a one and done series, or are they going to do multiple seasons? Considering the fact that Yu Suzuki says that there's still much more story to tell in the games, I'm
so
kind of I'm kind of just I'm just concerned about how long it's going to run.
So right now they're saying that this is a 13 episode series, but that's what they said about Castlevania, and even that wasn't 13. That was what that first one was, 6, or something ridiculously short. And that was such a hit that they immediately, you know, scheduled a longer season 2 and an even longer season 3. So it could happen. It could be that this turns out to be such a good hit that, you know, we're going to get multiple episodes or multiple seasons. Um, I don't know. Yeah. Um, we'll just have to see. We'll have to see, you know, how good the productions behind this, and we don't know, even though it's, you know, Crunchyroll and Adult Swim are where they'll be shown. Um,
Do we know the studio working on it?
Telecom Animation Film.
I'll have to look that name up. I'm not
Yeah, that's not
familiar
ringing
with
any
it.
bell. Now, well, here we so. Um, the director is Sakurai Chikara, season 2 of One Punch Man, and also some
Oh
Naruto.
no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we can blame the director for that. Maybe we can. Um, Yu Suzuki is on board as an executive producer, so who knows how much influence he'll have. Hopefully, some. But you know, we'll see. We'll see when it happens. No date here because they're just announcing it, of course. And we do know that it will be on Crunchyroll outside of Japan and mainland China, and it'll be on Adult Swim. Um, so it won't be on Crunchyroll in the U.S. It'll be on Adult Swim's Toonami in the U.S. So if you want to see it on anything other than Toonami, get that, you know, VPN up and running and pretend you're from the UK or somewhere. Anyway, moving on to our next topic. There we go. So that is actually an image from the upcoming comic book series based on The Expanse. And it's being done by Boom Studio.
Ooh.
Apparently it's expanding the universe with like sort of side stories featuring the main characters. It's going to follow UN Secretary General Christian Avasarala and former Martian Marine, and that's her right there, Bobby Draper, dealing with sort of crime issues, crime syndicates, and so on in the solar system as sort of the rest of the solar system and the powers in it discover things outside the solar system and do their explorations into other planets. Or no, actually, according to this thing, apparently they call it the galaxy's seedy underbelly. So maybe they're actually getting out into the interstellar world as well. That would be interesting. Kind of weird to see that why the Secretary General would be involved in that, but hey, it's a comic book.
Yep.
So I like the idea. I'll have to see where it goes. Boom Studios has had problems recently from a what do we say, a public relations standpoint.
Really?
Yeah. We talked about this a while ago. I should have looked this up. I just smacked my microphone. Sorry about that, folks. Well, maybe I'm thinking of a different thing. I can't, I can't find it in a very, very quick search. No, I guess maybe what this was the news. Apparently, it's just that Boom decided to stop actually printing physical comics during the, coronavirus time that we're still in, and they were sticking to just digital. So that might have been what I was seeing. Flash cord on the Twitches. Yeah, even if it doesn't kill you, you're looking at the potential for permanent heart, lung, neurological damage. I'm guessing that was from the Robert Pattinson stuff and COVID. Yeah, if it has a strong effect, like a hospitalization level effect, yes. From what I've read, you can have permanent serious issues going on. If it doesn't, from what I've read, like the people who essentially have no symptoms even though they've got it, it doesn't have any effect on you long term that we've been able to discover yet. So, Gotcha XX, Gotcha Eminem XX. So we're going to call you Gotcha Eminem. What is this channel? I, for some reason, subscribed, but I've never seen him or her before. I'm not really sure what the confusion is there. But this is Nerd Caliber. And go to nerdcaliber.com.
Hi.
Hey. Go to nerdcaliber.com to see the website and find out the kind of stuff we cover. Go back and look at our previous videos on this channel, and you'll find out all about us. This is our weekly Nerd News live show. And now you're up to date. So anyway, moving on to our next topic. Who's those people, folks? Those people are the cast of the original Alien. And the news is that Ridley Scott says that there's a new film in the works, and it will be in the original Alien universe, not the previous universe that was sort of set up with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. So, yay.
I guess. I mean, Ridley Scott has lost his touch with this franchise for some time now. Like, I know he wasn't involved in Resurrection. Was he involved in 3?
Ridley Scott was well, he was involved in all of them in that he was the executive producer. But he was not the director of 2, 3, or 4. And had almost no say in the writing or anything else about it. And in fact, Joss Whedon wrote for Resurrection, and the director rewrote it so badly that Whedon insisted his name get taken off the credits. Which is why 4 is the way it is. Master Demon, welcome to the show. So I like this idea. I'm gonna give Ridley Scott, who is an amazing filmmaker, even if he kind of swung for the fences and failed badly with Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Um, and he didn't write those scripts, so therefore I don't think he can be completely to blame for them. Damon Lindelof.
Not him again.
Who then went on to make the Watchmen sequel for HBO, which was one of the most brilliant pieces of entertainment done in the last few decades. So, and he wrote.
All right.
He wrote almost every single bit of that show. So how he could produce something as horrible, not produce, write something as horrible as Prometheus, with like the dumbest scientists on the face of the earth, the face of any other planet, and then turn around and do something like Watchmen. I have no idea, but anyway. So just like Lindelof can do brilliant stuff, we know obviously that Ridley Scott can do brilliant stuff. So fingers crossed his brilliance comes back, and we get a good Alien movie again, instead of Pinocchio wants to kill people.
Or a human hybrid.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still not over that.
Luminous. I would rather have Ridley Scott make another Gladiator movie. Are you not entertained? I'm down for that. I'm not sure exactly where it would be set or who would be the star. I can guarantee you right now that Russell Crowe is not in Fighting Trim, and spoiler alert, character dies. So, but I agree. Give me another epic like that. Or make an Alien epic level like that. Alien Gladiators.
Yes.
They find a world in which people have secretly been breeding aliens to fight in gladiator pits. Yes. See? Thank you, Luminous. Done. I'm looking forward to the movie.
Or we could finally have a good Alien versus Predator movie. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, maybe. It would be great if we did get a good one. I'm not really sure where the rights, or whether or not Ridley Scott would want to be involved in that, because he doesn't have the rights to the Predator stuff. Now, granted, people, the studios have given the rights to the Alien stuff to other people to make the Alien versus Predator mostly garbage films that have come out. But I get the impression Ridley Scott is the kind of guy who doesn't want to mess with other people's toys. He'd rather mess with his own toys and ruin them, like Prometheus. Something caught in my throat there. All right, moving on to our next. This is sad news, folks. This is sad news. That is not a sad photo. That's a wonderful photo. Lady D cosplay as Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. The sad news is that the creator of the Venture Brothers has confirmed that the Venture Brothers series is, in fact, canceled. That Adult Swim pulled the plug on it, and so season 7 is the last season. We don't know why they pulled the plug on it. Maybe making only 7 seasons in 17 years might be some reason.
Yeah. That could be one of them. Or, we need another Tim and Eric show in place of it. That's why they canceled it.
That could be. It could be that there were people who were increasingly having problems with the very, very edgy comedy of the series. There's some trans problems going on there. Flashcord, they pulled the plug because they looked at 2020 and said, this year isn't quite shitty enough. Let's make it worse.
Enough. Indeed.
All right, I have to do this one from our last one because this is too good. Flashcord. From the people that brought you Alien versus Predator, Predator versus Alien. It's Alien versus Predator, but mirror flipped. Oh, Anthony. Anyway. I I know an awful lot of people who are, in fact, really, really bummed out about this. I also have a little bit of a question. So Jackson Public, the creator of the series, tweeted out confirmation once a rumor started going around the last few days that it had been canceled. And this is his quote: "We got the highly disappointing news a few months ago while we were writing what would have been season 8. Why were you sitting on it for months?" I mean, we don't know. Were there negotiations going on, or did you think negotiations could be on? Why, if you knew it was canceled, did you not immediately go out to the Twitterverse and say, "Hey, everybody, your beloved show has been canceled"? Why would you hide that? Anyway,
that's pretty messed up when you think about it.
Again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume, maybe there were negotiations going on in the background. Who knows? And I'm going to do, hey, we're going to do a plug. We do have something to plug. That facility that you're looking at right now around Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is, in fact, the Southfleet Motor Inn that Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, Lady D Cosplay, actually co-manages. And that is the location, assuming COVID doesn't really shut us down completely, of our upcoming cosplay, Cape Cod Cosplay Photoshoot Week event, which will be going on October 14th. Let me look at a quick calendar look here at October 22nd through the 25th. If you are interested in that, go to our Facebook page, Nerd Caliber, and look at our events. We have it as an event. Because the state does have a restriction on number of attendees, we are asking people who might want to show up. And what we do is we coordinate photographers and cosplayers to go do shoots in all sorts of very interesting locations like the beaches of Cape Cod and so on off-season when there aren't big crowds. But we are requiring people to get tickets to it if you are planning on attending, so that we can set a limit and not violate the state requirements. But anyway, check that out at our Facebook page, Nerd Caliber. Back to the Venture Brothers. Apparently, there is some starting trend to get this show to be picked up by somebody else. And so there's a hashtag Save the Venture Brothers or something like that. Carlita, hello, welcome to the show. Miss Rob Warrior. Oh, I've already said hello to Rob Warrior, I think. Yes. Yes, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is a character designed to be exactly that. Ooh. So there is apparently an attempt to get this to be saved by somebody. Some studio or some streaming service that likes to handle challenging, edgy, content. I would say FXX, but it's now owned by Disney, so who knows? Yeah. So who knows where it's going to go, if it goes anywhere. I mean, given Justin Public's track record on producing content, 7 seasons in 17 years, I wouldn't bet that there's any other streaming service out there that wants to risk picking this up.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I'm thinking maybe he was just resting on his laurels way too much and just thought, oh, I have one of the most popular shows on Adult Swim. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's possible. We also don't really know what else has been going on in his life. I mean, for all we know, he could be, this, I hate to use this reference or compare it to, but he could be doing essentially a Chadwick Boseman, fighting a terrible disease. Or he could be just lazy and resting on his laurels. I mean, it's a possibility. All right, moving on to our next topic. So this is heating up. It's getting crazy out there, folks. The Ray Fisher versus Warner Brothers et al. Specifically Joss Whedon and the 2 executive producers. John Berg and Jeff Johns, is getting a little bit more intense. Warner Brothers put out a release stating that that Ray Fisher had not been cooperating with the third-party investigator that they brought on at his insistence. His insistence that they brought on a third-party investigator, not a hand-picked one. Just be sure that's clear. And that made it look like, oh, okay, well, my speculation from a while back is that, Ray Fisher was possibly doing this because of some sort of contractual issue or monetary issue. If he really had a complaint about abuse, why didn't he actually go to legal authorities? But Fisher then put out a response to that very quickly, where he posted his email that he had sent to SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild union, and some other people, that said that in his first encounter, which was just August 26th, with the lead investigator of this independent investigation, he shut it down when he discovered that they had a second, basically a lawyer in the room during the conversation that was not identified until he asked about it, and they insisted that he did not have any counsel or secondary people in the room during his first meeting. And he said, no, that's not going to happen. So that was Warner Brothers not being cooperative.
Mm.
So we're back at who knows.
Yeah, it sounds a lot more nuanced than what we were led to believe initially, definitely.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think there's, whether it's what I was speculating about a couple of weeks ago, whether it's Ray Fisher, doing this for some sort of, problem with his compensation or what have you, or whether in fact, there was an abusive environment on the set. I did just find out before we went on the air that apparently Jason Momoa is standing with Ray Fisher, and in fact tweeted that out with a hashtag #IStandWithRayFisher. So even though Momoa has not brought any complaints, he is apparently agreeing with Fisher that that it was a bad situation. So he's now got another person from the cast on his side, and that's the first. And that, again, now makes Warner Brothers look like they were, in fact, being pretty crappy to people. All right, moving on.
I honestly wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, well, so if you want to see how crappy Warner Brothers can be, go to YouTube, go to Lindsay Ellis's channel, and look up her 3-part video essays on the making of The Hobbit, and particularly the last one. Warner Brothers put so much leverage on the then conservative New Zealand government that they changed the labor laws in New Zealand to make it illegal for freelance entertainment workers to unionize. Because the people working in New Zealand on the Hobbit films, which at that point were owned by Warner Brothers because they bought out the original studio, wanted more money. They wanted the same kind of money that the people coming from America were getting. And Warner Brothers, not anybody else, Warner Brothers made sure by, who knows how, manipulating the conservative government that did not happen. That law has since been, I believe, repealed. But, wow. So, yeah, it is entirely possible that Warner Brothers looked the other way, or maybe even encouraged particularly bad behavior to make sure that this movie got finished on time after Zack Snyder had to bow out because of a horrible tragedy. So,
yeah.
All right, moving on to our last topic, and a much better. This is good news, folks. Those are 2 new actors as 2 new cast members in season 3 of Star Trek Discovery, which is coming up very soon. And the news here is that this is like one of the most inclusive character developments in current streaming entertainment that we've heard. So to the left, that is Blue Del Barrio, and to the right is Ian Alexander, and they play respectively Adira and Gray. And the characters are alternately non-binary and transgender.
Oh.
And I love the fact that they're fitting this in. I mean, the Blue or Adira is a non-binary character, and I don't think that's particularly anything that ties into any aspect of the Star Trek universe, that we know of. Gray is someone who wants to be a Trill host. And if you are a fan of the Star Trek expanded Next Generation, etc. universe, particularly Deep Space Nine, you know what a Trill.
Space Nine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know what a Trill host is. Jadira Dax was a Trill host. So.
And then Ezra.
Yes. Yep. So I love the fact that they're tying in this character into something that decades ago they had already established a sense of sort of non-binary or transgender status, that the Trill can take over any gender from any species, and it is that person going all along. And the scene where I can't remember his name, the Klingon, ultimately the Klingon Emperor, who knew. Oh, I can't think what the Trill's actual name is, or the previous incarnation of it. Who knew the Trill before Jadira Dax was the host, and
Curzon.
Yeah,
Curzon.
Yeah. And basically, Dax said, "Oh, this your name is now Dax, and I'm female." And Curzon just went, "Hey, cool, awesome." It's like no, oh my God, that's weird or anything whatsoever. It's still one of his best friends, just in a different sleeve, to use an Altered Carbon reference. So I think this is wonderful. It joins a cast that already has two important secondary characters who are gay, and I'm trying to remember where they left off at the end of season 2. Were lovers. I don't think they are anymore. But Anthony Rapp's Commander Paul Stamets and Wilson Cruz's Dr. Hugh Culber. Wonderful characters, particularly Rapp as Stamets. Fantastic job.
Yeah. He's actually bisexual.
Yes. Yeah. Which means that when they do show like actual kisses back when they were a couple, between Stamets and Dr. Culber, they sold it. I mean, the chemistry was 100% believable. So they're expanding on that sort of inclusiveness, and it's nice to see that happening. Like The Mandalorian had Tig Notaro as a essentially non-binary character. The ship mechanic that sort of watched over Baby Yoda for a while. And that was wonderful. It was nice to see. But nothing about the character's, gender. And again, apparently the Star Wars universe is like Star Trek is in a lot of ways, in that gender means almost nothing in, romantic relationships. That is canon, apparently. But The Mandalorian didn't do anything with that other than having a non-binary actor in that role. So good that they did it. Star Trek Discovery has made characters blatantly and obviously and under full acceptance gay or bisexual and now non-binary and transgender. So big thumbs up for them.
Yeah, Star Trek's always been progressive that way. So I'm definitely not surprised that they would make such an amazing casting choice.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you think the first interracial kiss on TV was a Star Trek original series. Um, Star Trek Enterprise had a fantastic episode about cultural differences and whether or not humans can accept something that we would find just horrifically distasteful when it's a core tenet of another culture. You know, they've done this, and of course, then the whole Jazeera Dax and Curzon and so on. They've done this a bunch of times. It is a feature of the Star Trek universe, and one that I really appreciate. And it's also when people criticize Discovery for being a bit more action oriented and a bit more adult, like they drop f bombs in Discovery, because it's on a streaming platform, so you can get away with it. I disagree that it doesn't keep the same themes of progressiveness that the original series and Next Generation did. They're there. They just happen to also have, really excellent action, dramatic storylines that you wouldn't have gotten necessarily in the first series or in Next Generation. So, and they're expanding on it. So, yay, good for them. All right, folks. We almost went an hour. That is our show. Thank you very much for joining us. Byron, plug that there webcomic again.
All right. Codename Blackbird .thecomicseries.com.
Check it out, folks. And give us a goodbye, Byron.
All right. Everyone out there, be good to each other. Stay healthy, stay safe, and wear a friggin' mask.
Wear a mask. We've already had one instance here in Massachusetts, in New Hampshire, here in New England, of an elderly couple refusing to wear a mask, even though it was required to vote in the polls. And it was primary day in New Hampshire. Police were called, and they were ultimately allowed to go inside and vote against the rules that were established by the town. So, don't be those people.
Yep.
Don't disregard your own safety and the safety of others. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Do the right thing.
6 feet apart.
Flash cord. Mask it or casket.
Indeed.
Thank you, Anthony, for putting the pin right on the head. Luminous, thank you. Good night, and we will see you all next week. We don't really have anything else to promote, do we? Oh, stay tuned for announcements on a second live stream product. Not going to say what it is yet because we haven't pinned down exactly when it's going to happen. But stay tuned, folks. There will be another show, a second weekly show. I will tell you this. You know what? I'll just tell you. The name is called Full Fat Spoiler Chat, and we're just going to get bitchy. So, look out for that.
It's going to be fun, guys.
It'll be fun. All right. See you later, folks. Good night.